Whatever anybody would do, we would try to help her.
I agree. I would too.
And that's what we do more than anybody in the world.
Anybody would do that. We would go out that door and help that little child. It's your humanity that calls you to do that, to save a single life. Mr. Secretary, Gaza is starving. As of last week, the UN has confirmed, it's the UN, has confirmed at least 57 children have already died of malnutrition and 14,000 more are on the brink of starvation. Food sits just beyond the border for days, for weeks. It was cut off. Please hold the clock for me. Reclaiming my time. I understand they're upset. For days, for weeks. I asked that I could reclaim some of that time that was just interrupted.
We'll give you 5 seconds.
The room grew quiet as Representative Madeleine Dean leaned forward and spoke directly to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, not with talking points or political jargon, but with a moral challenge that cut through the formality of the hearing. Moments like this matter, and if you want coverage that explains not just what is said in Washington, but why it matters, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss what comes next.
Let me yield the remainder of my time to my colleague from Pennsylvania, Ms. Dean.
I thank you, Representative Vera, and God bless Jerry Connolly. Mr. Secretary, you and I had the great privilege this past Sunday of traveling to the installation of Pope Leo, where he encouraged us to choose love and help the world's poorest. He suggests that we should get proximate to the suffering. If I were to tell you, Mr. Secretary, that outside that door was a 3-year-old little girl starving, like that photograph, ribs protruding, weak, unable to speak, what would you do?
Whatever anybody would do, we would try to help her.
I agree. I would too.
And that's what we do more than anybody in the world.
Anybody would do that. We would go out that door and help that little child. It's your humanity that calls you to do that, to save a single life. Mr. Secretary, Gaza is starving. As of last week, the UN has confirmed, it's the UN, has confirmed at least 57 children have already died of malnutrition and 14,000 more are on the brink of starvation. Food sits just beyond the border for days, for weeks. It was cut off. Please hold the clock for me. Reclaiming my time. I understand they're upset. For days, for weeks. I asked that I could reclaim some of that time that was just interrupted.
We'll give you 5 seconds.
5?
Additional.
Innocent children are dying. Mr. Secretary, Pope Leo has called for an end to the blockade to humanitarian aid, which began by Mr. Netanyahu March the 2nd. He said, the Pope said, the price is being paid by children, the elderly, and the sick. Secretary Rubio, I call upon you and I ask for your affirmation of this. Stand by our faith, by the call of the Pope to save the children desperate for food and water, babies who have no way to feed themselves, mothers who have to watch them die. Stand by the Jewish faith. Their teaching tells us to save a single life is to save the whole universe. Will you commit to getting a surge of aid into Gaza now?
Gentlelady's time has expired.
Maybe the Secretary...
Chair now recognizes
maybe the
Representative
Secretary
Burchett
could
from
answer-
Tennessee.
Mr. Chairman, could the Secretary answer my question? It's a yes or no.
I don't think you got a question out, and I gave
did.
you additional time.
Would
Chair recognizes
somebody-
Representative Burchett from Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary, how do you plan to ensure that future foreign assistance funding decisions are aligned with the President and are not co-opted or watered down by entrenched Foreign Service bureaucrats?
I'm going to get to your question, Dimitri. If I could just take 5 seconds. We have asked the Israelis, and I think they've acknowledged this publicly, to allow more aid to flow. I actually met with the World Food Program in Rome this weekend while I was there. We believe they have a system in place for distribution. We'll continue to urge them to do so, and in fact, we expect more aid will begin to flow rapidly over the next few days into Gaza.
I thank you.
Dean began by invoking a simple but powerful idea, the call shared across faiths and cultures to get close to suffering and to respond with compassion. She asked Rubio to imagine a 3-year-old child just outside the hearing room, ribs visible, weak, unable to speak from hunger. What would he do? Rubio answered as most people would. He said he would try to help. Dean agreed and reminded him that this instinct to save a single life is rooted in basic humanity. Then she brought the hypothetical into stark reality. Gaza, she said plainly, is starving. She cited United Nations confirmations that dozens of children have already died from malnutrition, with thousands more on the brink. Food and humanitarian aid, she explained, have been sitting just beyond the border for days and weeks, unable to reach those who need it. This was not an abstract statistic for Dean. She framed it as an ongoing emergency where innocent children are dying every day. When her time was interrupted, she reclaimed it, emphasizing that each moment lost translates into lives lost. She referenced Pope Leo's call to end the blockade on humanitarian aid, quoting his warning that the price is being paid by children, the elderly, and the sick. Then came the core of her appeal. Dean called on Rubio to stand by shared moral principles, not as a Democrat or Republican, but as a human being. She referenced Jewish teachings that say saving a single life is the same as saving an entire universe. She spoke of babies who cannot feed themselves and mothers forced to watch their children die. Her question was direct and urgent. Would Rubio commit to a surge of aid into Gaza now? Before he could answer fully, her time expired and the hearing moved on. That procedural moment itself became part of the story. In a setting where budgets, strategy, and politics often dominate, a plea rooted in human suffering was cut short. Still, Rubio did manage to respond briefly moments later. He said the United States has pressed Israel to allow more aid into Gaza and noted that he had recently met with the World Food Program. He expressed confidence that a distribution system is in place and said more aid is expected to flow in the coming days. What this exchange revealed goes beyond a single policy disagreement. It highlighted the tension between diplomatic process and humanitarian urgency. It showed how moral appeals can collide with bureaucratic timelines. And it raised a question many Americans are asking. How long can humanitarian crises be discussed in measured language while people on the ground are running out of time? Dean's remarks were not about choosing sides in a geopolitical conflict. They were about choosing whether human life remains central to foreign policy decisions. That is a debate that does not end when the gavel falls. If you want continued reporting that slows these moments down and helps you understand what is really at stake, make sure you subscribe. These conversations are shaping lives far beyond the walls of Congress.